Hello, this is Charlene. We are going to be working on a linear regression equation in this video. This is actually part A of a two-part video sequence. And let's talk just for a second, what does it mean to find a regression equation? Regression, the word regression, kind of means to go backwards. To regress means to go backwards. And that's what we're doing. We're starting with some data here, and we're going backwards to find an equation that comes close to representing this data. This data is going to be some real life data. It is not going to be a perfectly straight line if we plot it on a graph. But the thing is, though, that if it is generally following a general pattern, like if it's going up, 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 or down, 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 generally speaking, we can come up with an equation that's pretty close to fitting that data. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to use the data, and we're going to use our graphing calculator and a linear regression function to go backwards and find that equation. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff, and we will pull up our graphing calculator and show you how we go through this process. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull that up. Let's turn on our calculator, and we're going to go blue second button, blue quit to get to a clean screen so you know where to start. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to click on this stat button. S-T-A-T. Stat stands for statistics, and numbers are statistics. So let's click on stat. The first thing that pops up is an edit option, and that is exactly where we want to go, because we want to edit a couple of lists and put our data in the list. So let's push enter to choose the edit function. And if you notice right here, we have several columns. We got the L1 column. The L1 column is where we're going to put our P values. This says that our P represents the number of people, and the S represents the number of suitcases. So we've got a P right there for people. We've got an S for suitcases, but we're also going to associate that with the X and Y coordinates. In our graphing calculator, we're going to associate the X values with the first list and our Y values with the second list. So let's remember that every time we use our calculator. So the way that we get in here and put the data in here, I've actually already entered the first list, but I'm going to go ahead and clear that out for you. If you want to clear it out, you go up to the L1, and then you push clear enter, and it will clear out the entire column for you. So then how do we put all that data in? We do 63 enter, 115 enter, 153 enter, 192 enter, 224 enter, 297 enter, and 331 enter, and 375 enter. Okay, does it look like I got everything in there correctly? I believe so. Okay, so you would do the same thing. You would right arrow over to the other column and do exactly the same thing with the Y values or the L2 values. Okay, so after you do that, you're going to push stat again. So you're going to push stat again, except now we've already edited our list. Now we want to do some calculations. So we're going to right arrow over to the calculation option. So right arrow. And on the fourth one down, it says lin reg, which is actually short for linear regression. And that's exactly what we want. We want to use the linear regression function on our calculator. So we're going to arrow down to number 4. We'll push enter to choose linear regression. And this, as you can see, says X list is L1, Y list is L2. Now, for some reason, it doesn't say L1 and L2. You would actually change it using your blue second button, and down here is L1 and here is L2, above the 1 and the 2. But anyway, it does have L1 and L2, which is what we want. We want to look at list 1, list 2, which contains our X and Y values, which represents our people and our suitcases. Okay, so we're just going to push enter, 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 and enter, and it's going to calculate for us. And it creates this screen right here, and I've actually pulled this up over here on my other screen for you, so you can see it. This is what it creates for you when you do that. it tells you y equals ax plus b, and then it tells you the value for the a and the value for the b. So, and I've also pulled these up here so you can kind of have a screenshot of all those different windows on your graphing calculator. So now we have our equation. We have y is equal to, this is ax plus b. Now we always think of y equals mx plus b, and it's the same thing. The a and the m represent the same thing. So we're going to plug in what they tell us the value for a or m is. We're going to substitute that in. So that would be 1.83 x, and then our b is going to be equal to negative 16.497. So I'm going to round that to 16.5. 16.5. So that right there is our equation, which approximates our data that we have put into the graphing calculator. Now, if we actually want to see what that looks like, we could graph that. We could put this calculator into our y equals function. In fact, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that right quick? So let's go over here. We're going to go click on the y equals function, and we're going to put our equation in here. Our equation, y equals, and it's going to be 1.83 and x, and then minus 16.5. So now let's just go look at the graph and see what it looks like. And there it goes. Okay, so I can't see it. Let's change the window a little bit so we can see it better. So window, I want to see, I don't need to see as much of the negative stuff, so I'm going to change the x minimum to 0. But I do want to see a lot more on the x positive side, so I'm going to put, how about 30? Let's put 30. And I also do not care about too much minimum on the negative side of the y-axis. I'm going to put a 0 there, and I'll put a y max of, let's put 30 on that as well. Okay, so let's go back and look at that graph and see what it looks like now. So that is what it appears. So this is a line that would approximate that data stream. In another video, we'll practice finding scatter plots so you can see what it would look like with the scatter plot. Okay, hopefully that helps. This is the correct linear regressed equation for our data. Okay, click on the subscribe button, click on the like button, come back soon.